Good evening, everyone. Just preparing myself my evening meal, and probably what I'm going to be eating every time I get home for the next couple of days. But, of course, that's not why you've come here. And I hope I don't drop this shit, because I'm not going to be best pleased. Let me do this next to the camera. I know this is the draining board and hang on, but, well, on my head be it if it goes in there, eh? Anyway, I wanted to talk about basically what's coming up on the 1st of June, because I am debating with myself whether or not I'm going up there. And don't worry, these will be staying at home. I'm just using them to cut the vegetables. Anyway, I am debating whether or not I go up there, because obviously it falls on a Saturday rather than what happened with St. George's Day, which was done... Oh, I've got the thingy. Which was, I believe, a Tuesday or Monday or something like that. So I wasn't able to be up there, tragically. What the hell's going on with this thing? Shouldn't be that pissing bad. But basically, I couldn't be up there because duty called, aka work, which I've obviously been trying to keep a hold of. So is it a very smart idea that I start doing my politics? Probably not, but hey-ho. But I have also made it quite clear in some of my past videos that if I do get kicked out for my political views, then I will have no qualms with naming and shaming the people responsible. Because I am not prepared to put up with it. Because I should be able to go into a job and be accepted for who I am, and unless I'm promoting genuinely hateful rhetoric, or inciting genuine hatred, or inciting violence, or promoting terrorism, it shouldn't matter whether or not I can do the job or not. Just so long as I'm... Well, sorry. It shouldn't matter if I do it unless I'm promoting that shit, as long as I'm able to do the job, basically. Unfortunately, I have been persecuted in the past myself by a charity which I will not name, but I was also persecuted by a recruitment firm as well, who decided to basically say, well, we no longer want to deal with you, we're not going to help you find another job. To which, obviously, look where I am now. I've got myself a job, up yours, the recruitment company. Not the one that's put me in my new job, of course. But I digress. So, on June the 1st, there's going to be a protest led by Tommy Robinson, which is going to basically expose the two-tier policing. And he's going to be releasing a new documentary. I think it's called Lawfare. So a lot of us are already aware of the lawfare that's going on right now. But I think it's going to be more for the people who are just new, who are just joining in, or for people who are passing by, so they can actually see the tyranny that's going on in our country. The persecution against one man based off of who he is rather than what he's done. The same man who, as I've discussed in the previous video, Lizzie Dearden ended up putting a YouTuber on him, basically doxed him, and also made libelous, slanderous statements about him. Don't worry, I don't want that much oil in there. Anyway, she also made libelous, slanderous statements about sending direct messages to a terrorist. But obviously, if you've seen the video, you don't need me to refresh your mind on that. But it's basically going to be there to showcase the two-tier policing and the lawfare that he's had to face. But of course, as you well know, the mainstream media won't tell you about any of this, because, say it with me, folks, it doesn't suit the narrative. They would rather focus on how British patriots are far right for wanting to fly the English flag, for caring enough to be worried about our national security as far as these illegal immigrants are concerned, or how we're allowing people who are on the watch list for MI5, who 90% of the terror suspects are coincidentally Islamic, by the way, but I digress. Isn't it funny how when we're concerned about them, we're considered far right? But they won't consider the same thing about Islam, which is fascistic in its ideology, in that it basically wants a caliphate across the world where women are treated like second-class citizens, homosexuals are stoned to death or thrown off buildings, and of course, if you do not submit to the will of Allah and Muhammad and what have you, then you are basically going to be put to death. And if you try to turn away from Islam, you'll be put to death. And I don't know any other religion that practices this. But again, mainstream media will not tell you that. But I am debating right now, to keep it on topic, whether or not I'm going to the event. And touch wood, and I wish I had it over here, but the wood one's over there. Anyway, touch wood, I should, keyword, should be able to get down there. No full-on promises yet, because obviously got to make sure that keep my life in check first. But it will be like the first time I've been down in London for like 3 freaking years, except for like that one time I went with one of my buddies who won't want to be named for obvious reasons, especially considering they run a business. But hey ho, it'll be a good chance to, if there's going to be some of my old subscribers down there, to see me once again, because those that don't know, who are newer to this channel and don't know about my old one, I had a channel that had like 3,200 subscribers, because I was basically blown up, and I don't mean literally, but I mean I was blown up by Super J, who's now had his channel closed and now is on Super J TV. Had to create a new one, but I digress. I had 3.2k subscribers on this old channel through speaking about Tommy Robinson, and primarily the main thing that got me noticed was that thing about James Fielding and how the IPSO, the Independent Press Standards Organisation or some shit like that, they basically dismissed my complaint about how James Fielding was harassing Tommy Robinson while he was in Tenerife. Again, mainstream media will not be very eager to tell you any of this. But they dismissed that because I'm a third party. Which I suppose is fair enough. I am technically a third party since I'm coming in and I'm not related to Tommy Robinson in any way, shape or form. Though, to be fair, and I don't mean this in a bad way, would anyone want to be if you were going to be faced with that much flack if you oppose can't even get the words out now. If you oppose his views? Obviously I don't, but the point is, would you want the constant threat of Islamic terrorists coming to basically kill you, or try to kill your family, or what have you? It is a scary prospect, but we have to remember that Islam is nothing but a bunch of spineless cunts who basically like to preach it, and they can dish it, but they can't take it, in a nutshell. But they are also fanatics in that sense, because they are unwaveringly devoted to their cause, no matter how dark ages it is, no matter how barbaric it is as a death cult. But it's not stopped me from doing what I want to do. Ironically, what stopped me from doing what I want to do is family. Namely, my sister. And my sister basically threatened me point blank, delete your channel or I'm disowning you. Now, understandably, back when I was younger, I care about my family. And I would bend over backwards to please them and keep them happy. In this particular stage, I should have basically said, no, you should be respecting what I'm doing. You have no right to tell me what I can and can't do with my own frigging channel. And I suspect what it might be is the narcissism, unfortunately, that she has, that caused this in the first place. And she's not going to like me saying that. But to be honest, I couldn't fucking care less for all the shit that she's put both me and my mum through, quite frankly. And I know I shouldn't be airing dirty laundry and what have you, but that's honestly the point of this. She's responsible for the closure of the old channel, which is why I'm on this one and making sure I don't slice my fingers off while I'm doing the onions now. And I actually forgot the top and bottom. God damn it. Anyway, the point is, I intend this channel to be a rebirth. I intend to keep fighting. And obviously, now that I no longer have that much contact with her, there's no way I'm deleting this fucking channel. The only way it's getting deleted is if YouTube does it. Full stop. Or if there's like a monumentally serious threat to my life, and even then I'd probably question it. But I intend to stay here now. Or if YouTube deletes me for whatever reason, or they become unsustainable because of their constant stopping people from having their comments enabled because they speak the truth, then I'm just going to move over to Rumble. And a lot of my content is on Rumble right now, but I have noticed some of it isn't, so maybe I'll have to see about transferring it over to Rumble. But yeah, that's basically what I wanted to talk about today. Hopefully I'll be down there on the 1st of June, but I'm not going to make a full-fledged promise on that until nearer the time, because I want to make sure that I'm going to be able to do that and no serious consequences are going to take place. And I know what some people are going to say, if on the off chance they stumble on this. Well, you're with a person who's far right and racist and all that shit. The funny thing is, nobody ever seems to be able to provide any evidence when challenged on that. Surprised this thing hasn't set on fire. Anyway, nobody's been able to provide any proof of racism. And what I find even funnier still is, remember Syra Khan on BBC Question Time, who said, you're a racist and a bigot, for basically mentioning what we now know about Islam. She then received death threats when she was no longer a part of Islam. Yeah, I have no sympathy for Syra Khan, quite frankly. And for people who don't know who Syra Khan is, she's basically the contestant from The Apprentice Series 1 who came second, ended up losing to a black man, no less. So make of that what you will. But yeah, touch wood, I'm hoping to be there on the 1st of June. Obviously without knives, without weapons, because at the end of the day, as much as I feel like a revolution is needed, I'm not going to be that sort of person who goes advocating for fucking violence and what have you, because that's not what this is about. This is about exposing a two-tier policing system that fundamentally needs reform. And the only way it can start doing that is getting rid of Mark Rowley and Sadiq Khan. Until that happens, there is no point of this rally. Until those two are gone, they're never going to reform, because they are the rotten apple at the core that is tarring all the other apples. Get rid of them, and we might just have a chance of putting back a police force that can truly be respected, and maybe bring back the old standards of 6 foot tall, proper police hat, none of this nonsense about, oh, well, you can wear baseball caps and basically look like the biggest joke in the country. But an actual force in the police that is respected and feared, but serves the British people.